Hey guys, long time no speak. Life has been crazy as always, and I have not been putting YouTube in the forefront of my life to be like my biggest hobby, and I just haven't been doing it. So I'm not going to get into too much of an explanation, just know life has happened. But I'm really excited. I've decided to stray away from the whole family vlogging scene just because I want this channel to be more about me and my interests and things like that. So I am not turning this into a book YouTube channel, a book-based YouTube channel, but reading is one of my biggest hobbies, and it's something that I really picked up. I mean, I've always been a really big reader, but I really started picking it back up in 2019, and it, you know, through the pandemic and everything, was one of the main ways that I kept myself busy and whatnot. So anyways, I wanted to do a video showing you my July wrap-up. Today's the last day of July, tomorrow is August 1st, as well as any books that I bought in July, and I just realized I forgot one, so 1 second. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with the books that I bought in July, and then I'll get on to my July wrap-up. And I will have to put a couple of books like right here or something, like a picture of them, because I have a Kindle, but I also have a huge collection of physical books. So typically what I do with my Kindle is any books that I'm not sure that I'm gonna like, I will get through my library through Libby and get on my Kindle and read it, and if I really like it then I'll buy it, and if I don't then I don't have to worry about it. So the first book I got in July was One Italian Summer. This is a book by Rebecca Searle. Hopefully I said that right. I listened to this book. Lily! My dog's gonna be in this video too. This is Lily. I don't know if you guys have met her yet, but she just turned a year old in June. So she's still like a little puppy. She baby. Oh, you gonna do a book call with me? Anyways, I listened to this book on audio in March. And I'll have my Goodreads in my description box, so if you want to follow me you can. I try to update it as best as I can. I'm pretty good about it, because I do like to know what I've read. But anyways, I listened to this on audio in March. This was a book of the month pick for, I don't remember, one of the earlier months. And I didn't get it because I got something else, but I wanted to listen to this because I knew that Lauren Graham narrated it. And if you don't know, Lauren Graham is Lorelai from Gilmore Girls. So I listened to it and I love this book. I know this book a lot of people either love or they hate. I really liked it. I have that sort of relationship with my mom, so I actually got my mom this book for her birthday, and we are going to buddy read it together. She's not read it, but anyways, I got this book physical, even though I've already listened to it, because it is one of my favorite books. And if I listen or get a book from Libby that I really like, I will buy it because I want to be able to reread it. So that's the first book I got. Then our library was having a book sale, so I actually picked up Educated. I've not read this yet, but this is like a brand new copy of Educated. I got it for $3, and I got to support my local library, so that was really exciting. I've heard nothing but good things about this book, so I'm really excited to read this. And I'm not going to read descriptions because that would make this video like way too long. And then recently I homeschool my son, so I do have an educator's card for Barnes & Noble. So with the educator card you get 25% off. So we went to Barnes & Noble recently, and I got this book, it's called Made, Hard Work, Low Pay, and A Mother's Will to Survive. I watched the Netflix series on this show this past month with my husband. Lily, what are you doing? We watched the TV show, the Netflix TV show that they came out with this, and I cried. I loved, and it still stuck with me. We watched that weeks ago. It still stuck with me. So I was like, I have to buy the book and read it. I have to. So I did, and I cannot wait to pick this up. I'll actually be reading this after the book I'm currently reading, which I will get to right now. So I got The Maid. And yesterday I treated myself. I have not read this series yet. I just started. So I picked up the entire hardcover set of A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I have the first book out right now because I'm reading it, as you can see. You guys, I can already tell you I'm going to love this series. I am on like chapter 13 of the first book, and I have 4 copies of the first book. I have the I have this one, I have the paperback, I have the Kindle version, and I have the, I'll grab it really quick, the special edition. Beautiful that is. And you might be thinking, Brianna, why do you have 4 copies of a book that you haven't read yet? And I will tell you why. Okay, so I have 4 copies of a book I haven't read yet because I read Crescent City and House of Sky and Breath, and let me tell you, I have not felt that way reading a book since Twilight and Harry Potter. And yes, I like Twilight. I actually just ordered all the Twilights because I'm doing a reread of Twilight for the fall. I'm really excited. But yeah, and I saw this and I was like, oh my god, that's beautiful, so I had to get it. So yeah, I have 4 copies of A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad about it at all. And if you have not read, I will say I messed up because I read Crescent City before I started this series, and the second book didn't make a ton of sense to me, so I do plan on reading this whole series. Did you get your book? I know, look at that. Look at that. Okay. Lily, what are you doing? What are you doing? You wanna sit? Sit down. Lily, sit down. Good girl. Good girl. I see that. Thank you for your phone. Thank you. I'm so excited to read this, and I'm so excited to have it on my shelf. I literally have it sitting like this. I will give you guys a glimpse of my bookshelf in a minute. I literally have it sitting like this because I have an entire Sarah J Maas shelf, and I've been on Etsy like looking at new dust jackets, like fan art dust jackets for these and Crescent City, and like fan art and stuff. I'm telling, like, I love it. So yeah, currently reading this. Probably not gonna finish it in July, but I'm about 1/3 of the way through. So yeah, those are all. No, that's not true. I also got my Book of the Month box, and I get 3 books every month from Book of the Month. So my July box, I got Malibu Rising, The House Across the Lake, and my monthly pick was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. So that's what I picked up for July. Those are all the books that I got, I think. I'm pretty sure it is. If it's not, oh well. I think it is. I tried really hard to do really good in July, so because my TBR is continuously growing and it overwhelms me sometimes. So now onto the books I read in July. I'm gonna do this in order of what I read. Okay, so the first book I read in July was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I was really excited to get this. I love this cover. I think it's super pretty. I believe I gave this, I'm gonna have to look on my Goodreads to see what all I gave it. I gave this book 4 stars. This was a really good book. However, I went into it thinking that it was gonna remind me of Ready Player One, and it wasn't really a Ready Player One type of story. It's more so set in our world, whereas Ready Player One is set in like a fantasy world. But it is about 3 friends who go into video game creation together, and the character development in this book is fantastic. It's fantastic. I cried through this book, I laughed through this book, I smiled through this book. I do really recommend this book if you are a video game person and you like character development. This character development in this book is really good. There are moments where the characters made me really, really mad, and I flew through this. I read this in like 2 days. So I do recommend this book. This was a 4-star, solid 4-star for me. Only reason it wasn't a 5-star is because some of the things that the characters did made me, again, really mad. But yeah, I really like it. The main character in this book I loved him, but I also hated him because I just didn't understand why he did some of the things he did, or didn't do some of the things that he should have done. But yeah, I do recommend this book. This was a really good book of the month pick. The second book I read, not so great. It was The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I love Riley Sager. I have a lot of his books. I've read Final Girls. I have Lock Every Door on my shelf, this one. I've read Home Before Dark. Like, I really like Riley Sager. I read Survive the Night. I didn't love it. But I knew going into this book I wasn't sure about it because I had watched The Woman Across the Street from the Girl in the Window, whatever that Netflix thing was, and the whole time I was reading this book I could not stop picturing the main character as Kristen Bell, and it just didn't do it for me. I probably would not read this again. I'm probably going to donate this book, but yeah, it just didn't, it was too similar. Even though the endings were very different, it's very predictable, it wasn't for me. It wasn't very scary. It just wasn't for me. So this, I believe, I want to make sure I'm giving you accurate ratings. So on Goodreads, I rated this 3 stars, which, thinking about it now, probably should have been more like 2 stars, so I might change that. But did not like this. I was happy they had it through Book of the Month though, because like I said, a lot of his books are through Book of the Month. I think they might have all of his books through Book of the Month. So I like having matching copies, but yeah, I probably wouldn't read this again. I definitely wouldn't read that again. Okay, the third book I read in July was Hidden Pictures. I'll have a picture of it right here. I actually read this on my iPad because it has the pictures and stuff in it, and I rated this book 3 stars as well. It was good, but it wasn't as creepy as it could have been. I read some really creepy stuff, so it's hard to creep me out. Yeah, I've read some pretty crazy books, so it was good. I didn't like the ending. I thought it was kind of predictable, and just it was okay. So I won't be buying that. I'm glad I got it from the library, because it was super high up there for me to want to purchase, but I'm glad that I didn't. The next book I read was I Kissed Cheryl Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. This book I rated 3 stars again, lots of 3 stars this month. This cover is actually so pretty. I got the Barnes & Noble edition, but I just think this book is so beautiful. This book was okay. It was a YA, so it was, you know, definitely YA. Wasn't anything, I don't know. It was good. It was good. Would I recommend it? I don't know. Some of the characters were a little annoying, but it was okay. I don't really have too much to say about this book. I also don't really remember very much about it, which to me means I didn't really love it, but I will be keeping this because I just really like this cover. So. And then I read my first 5-star of the month, and that was Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. This sat on my shelf. I got this literally when it came out, which I think was the beginning of this year or the end of last year or something, and it sat on my shelf, and I finally read it, and oh my god, this is one of my new favorite books. Like, this book is so good. She really outdid herself with this one. I love this book. I will definitely be rereading this, and it gave me literally all the feels, and my battery's breaking. This is a solid book. Pick it up, read it, get it from your library, just read it. It's so good. And I read this right after we watched Maid, and it was perfect. I just loved it. So read this. 1 second, let me change my battery. Okay, and then the last book that I read for July is Malibu Rising. My goal is to get through my Book of the Month box this month, so I did that. This is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm really excited because next month I will be going to her book signing, like a book fair, a book festival, and she will be there. I got tickets, and the tickets did include a signed copy of Carrie Soto's Back, which is her next book. And I'm really excited to meet her. I'm going to bring all of her books. I loved Daisy Jones and the Six, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, this book. I really want to read, after I do, like, I just want to read all of her books. I love her writing so much. I loved this book so much. I loved all of the characters. I loved their story. I loved the background on Mick Riva, because after reading about him in Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I love that she does that character connection in her books. It is so, she's such a talented writer. I love her so much. So if you have not read this, you need to read it. I tried so hard to get it in for July, and I did, because it's a summery book and it gave me all the summer feels. I loved this book. This was a 5-star book for me. And then obviously I started A Court of Thorns and Roses. I want to say, let me just make sure. Oh, that's not true. So before I read Malibu Rising, I read It Happened One Summer, which is this book right here by Tessa Bailey. It was my very first Tessa Bailey book, and I really liked that book. It was really good. I'm not a super romance fan. I found I like fantasy and contemporary fiction the most, and historical fiction. Those are my 3 favorite, and sci-fi sometimes. Those are my 3 favorite genres. But I did really like It Happened One Summer. I gave it 4 stars. And yeah, that was my rating for that. Again, if you haven't read it, read it. I've got the second book, Hook, Line, and Sinker, in my Libby to read right now, but I have heard that it's not as good, although I am excited to read it because I do want to learn more about her sister and that storyline. So that was it. I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books in July, which I typically average about 7 books a month. Like I said, I started this. I probably won't be done with this in July, so this will count towards August. I started this. After I read this, I plan on reading The Maid, and then after that, I have no idea. I have like a pile of books that I want to read for August, but you guys, I don't do well with stuff like that, so I actually made a TBR jar. So I will be filming videos of what I'm going to read after I finish reading books, of what I need to read next. So like I said, I want to read The Maid next, so I probably will read this after Court of Thorns and Roses, and then read The Maid, and then I might start the next book, which is A Court of Mist and Fury. This is a big book. I might start that, or I might just continue on my TBR. Let me just show you my TBR really quick. It's bad. So this is my to be read cart. So up top I have Love and Other Words, Midnight Library, Invisible Life, Addie LaRue, whatever. You can pause and see if you want. And then that's the second. And then that's the third. And then over here I have these books I haven't read yet. This was supposed to be, I was supposed to finish those in July. Obviously didn't. I know I haven't read Book Lovers by Emily Henry, but I'm, again, not a rom-com. I'm not a rom-com or a romance person usually, so that's why they're still there. But this was supposed to be my August TBR, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that happens. I will say I'm really excited about Alone with You in the Ether, The Silent Patient, and The Change. I did start The Paper Palace last year and I hated it, so I just really want to get through it and maybe I'll like it. But I read it in the winter last year, so I don't know if that's why I didn't like it, but yeah. So this is my bookshelf. I've got all of my book of the months up there. Top shelf is horror. That's my Sarah J Maas shelf. This is my Harry Potter shelf. This is like romance, rom-com things. Yeah. And then down here, these are all my Click books from when I was a kid. I really want to do a reread of those as well. So, like I said, this is my TBR card. And that does not include the 3 books that I'm going to get for August from Book of the Month. That doesn't include the Twilight books I ordered. Like, it's bad, you guys. So I'm really trying to work my way through it. It's way better than it used to be though. Like I do get more books every month, but it's not nearly as much as I used to because this severely overwhelms me. Hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you like book content. And I guess I'll see you in the next video, which will be a review of Court of Thorns and Roses and picking my, well, that's not true. I'm going to be reading The Maid after that. But yeah. Alright, well, I will talk to you guys later. I hope you guys are all having an awesome day, weekend, whatever this is. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.